Hi, I'm John Ceci. I'm an estate planning attorney in Brighton, Michigan. And in this video, I'm going to tell you three things about trusts. I'm going to tell you when you need one, when you might want one, and then I'll also tell you what I think is one of the worst reasons to have a trust. So the first thing we'll talk about is situations where you need a trust. One of the most basic situations where you need a trust is if you don't want someone to receive their inheritance at the age of 18. The norm is that once you're an adult, you're entitled to receive whatever you're legally entitled to receive from someone who's left you something as an inheritance. However, many parents are understandably uncomfortable with the idea of their children inheriting larger sums of money, typically when you to get into six figures, $100,000, couple $100,000. That is often possible if you've been good with money over your life and you've got a home, you've got a car, maybe you've got some investments that have accumulated over the years. There's a very realistic chance that when you pass away, you'll be leaving your children as much as six figures. Well, most parents don't really know how responsible their kids are going to be right away. For example, some 18-year-olds aren't very responsible with money. And if you leave them that much, they might go spend it on a big spring break, not realizing that it's not a money tree and it's not an endless pot of money. Others are more responsible. But again, when they're 7 or 10 years old, you really don't know that. And so that's a reason why you might want to consider, well, you have to actually have a trust. One reason you might want to have a trust is if you're more of a private person. One thing many people don't realize is that a probate court estate is actually a public file. What that means is your nosy neighbors could go into the probate court, take a look at your file, and see a little bit more about your business than they would normally know. So if you don't like that idea, executing a trust is one way to avoid that. So those are a couple of reasons why you should get a trust. Now let me tell you one reason that is not really a good reason to get a trust. And that's the idea that if you have a trust, somehow you will avoid litigation over the inheritances in the trust. The reality is you can litigate over inheritances just like you can litigate over anything else. If people are unhappy with whatever their inheritance is or is not, they're allowed to go to the probate court and litigate that, and a trust will not stop that. Talking about estate planning can be challenging. Thinking about it is something that many people sometimes like to avoid because you're thinking about your own mortality. I understand that. But the reality is, if you've accumulated assets over the time, you really do need to take the time to sit down and think about who's going to get what and when and how. That's where I come in. That's what I do. I spend my day thinking about these things and looking for ways to help people put into effect what they'd like to have happen when they're no longer here. If you found this video interesting or useful, please pick up your phone, give me a call. We'll sit down and talk, and we'll come up with a plan that works for you and your situation.